Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maud Toussaint Como. This is the channel where we talk about fragrances and arts. This week I am taking you along to hang out with me a little bit to talk about my discovery set, Akro. Today I tried Malt. It was an easy breezy day. I seriously didn't know what malt was referring to. I was thinking chocolate milk with malt in it, but I was like, what kind of addiction is that? I don't know if people are addicted to milk. But anyway, later I realized it was referring to malt liquor. If you recall, the word Akro, spelled A-K-R-O here, but it's really meant to be the French word Akro, A-C-C-R-O, which is a diminutive derivation of the whole word accrocher, which is to be attached to something, to be hooked to something. This is why the whole line Akro has to do with an interpretation of things, of vice, if you would, or habits that people have and that they tend to be hooked on. But none of it is a photorealistic representation of those things. You know, they are very much an accord interpretation of a total note that somewhat represent that vice or that Akro. Today I did Akro Malt. I would also insert a picture. Perhaps had I known that it was referring to liquor, I probably would have worn it in an evening if I'm going to a bar or something. But I seriously didn't know. Sort of smell it like that and it smelled fresh enough. I was just going to lunch today. That's what I wore. When you first put it on, I thought like sticky and slightly synthetic, and then it turned to something very leathery and very sophisticated. So I was like, is it an addiction to plastic surgery? Is it an addiction to everything beautiful? Or I couldn't tell what addiction that was referring to, but this is pretty much referring to malt liquor. And this fragrance, all I really experienced, I mean, having worn it during a day and not night at a bar or anything like that, I just experienced a very beautiful fragrance. There was nothing alcoholic that I smell about it. Again, realizing that this is not any sort of photorealistic representation of alcohol. But it was so light and sophisticated and beautiful, because when I started getting a little bit of leather to it, a little bit of, it has seaweed notes, a little bit of sort of ozonic feel to it. It just felt pretty good the whole day to me. It felt like a very attractive fragrance, like a very sexy fragrance. Again, so I was like, is it addiction to shopping? Because it smelled like a very expensive department store that you go to. That's really what I was smelling. But in any case, it's meant to be a boozy fragrance. The notes are malt, whiskey, rum, and leather. I think what makes this fragrance really nice, and I have to say very welcoming for me, is that it has patchouli. To me, that's the greatest place to put patchouli, you know, in a boozy fragrance. It becomes sort of spicy, earthy. And I think between the leather, the rum, the malt, whiskey, and the seaweed, you know, past the little bit of the sourness type of opening, which was almost a little bit like a baking bread sourness opening, everything else turns out to be an incredible interpretation of a boozy, spicy, earthy fragrance that with patchouli in it. I mean, there is no gender really for fragrances, but I do find some of them are a little bit more leaning to masculinity in a way that I would like prefer to smell it on a man than on me. I would welcome smelling it on a man if, you know, if I don't have to smell it on me. It's cool. Just enjoy it. It's just perfectly unisex. It's perfectly smooth. It's perfectly sophisticated. That's pretty much all my review is on Malt. So I'm just hanging around a little bit. I just had a little time to and before it gets too dark, I thought like I would have you join me and I would talk about Malt really fast. And next one are going to be Dark and Night. I think I'll leave Night for last. Well, let's see. You know what? Let me do a very first impression of those without knowing anything about them. So this is Dark. Perfectly chocolatey. Yum yum. That's all I can say. That's all I get in the very beginning. So I think it actually works really nice with the malt liquor. Who doesn't want malt liquor? Liquor is always nice with chocolate. Those two, for example, I think could be layered together. Just first impression. The Dark is just simply beautiful, chocolatey. I don't know how this is developing. I'll give you maybe later my opinion on this. So actually, let's just make this video all of the rest. So yeah, Dark is chocolatey. Oh, it's turning into something considerable now. Like, you want to eat more chocolate now. If before you were just licking on the chocolate and not chew because of your diet, now you want to go down with it and not care. That's Dark. The notes are cacao, dark chocolate, cinnamon, hazelnut, and vanilla. And I think what's really interesting in this one is the fact that it's not sweet at all for a gourmand, sort of hazelnut, cacao. And I think it's because it's a dark chocolate, so it's bittersweet. It's bittersweet chocolate, and it's made most deliciously with the hazelnut and never get too sweet. So that's what I like about this. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Night, it's supposed to represent some form of sexual addiction, if I understand. And it's Night. So let's see what you get from that. Knowing nothing yet about the notes. A lot of those sexual addiction situations I found have used a lot of flour, and this one is soapy in its opening. Soapy and clean. I don't know if it would get dirty, but to start, it's really innocent. It's soapy and it's clean. I don't know where it's going to veer toward, how much sweat it's going to be bringing on. But right now I'm smelling a very exotic. It's developing into something fruity, exotic and clean and a little bit sweet. That's what I'm getting in Night right now. It's very innocent right now. The notes on Night are Bulgarian rose, cumin, saffron, agarwood, which is an oud. So there are many rose oud combinations around. I seriously find that this one is, at least for me, the one that most wearable that I have in my collection. It's totally truly unisex, and there is just this freshness about it. If it's being bought by the saffron, it's just a beautiful rose oud fragrance. Night, guys, and that's going to be essentially my review of the Akro. There is a new one that came. Definitely want to know what this is about. It's an enigma for me. How do you capture ink? You know, tattoo. I don't know. I haven't been to a tattoo parlor, maybe some glamorized tattoo parlor if you're into that, you would get a hint of that. I don't know, but yeah, that definitely telling me that I need to check the ink very, very soon, which I'll do, and hopefully it will be part of this series also. All right, guys. So guys, that's my review. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Bye.